From Islam going on a 12-fight win streak and becoming the champ, to Gaethje getting an incredible win over Fiziev, it's very likely that these two will come face to face. And when they do, it's going to be legendary. Both of these guys are beasts, and over the last few years, everyone's had this fight on their minds. Sure, Makhachev was busy with Volkanovski, and Justin was fighting Chandler and Poirier, but I can say for sure that this fight was one I've wanted to see for a while. And it seems all the fans are now on the same page. I mean, think about how big this would be, guys. Islam's the current champ, and he needs a challenger in the division.
First of all, you see, I have to say, I always ask God, but He give me always more than what I ask. Alhamdulillah.
And Gaethje just came off an impressive win against Fiziev. Now I know that everyone's treating the upcoming Dariush versus Oliveira fight as the #1 contender fight for the lightweight, and Dariush deserves a shot for sure. But I've got to say, Gaethje is as dominant as anyone in the division right now. Still, before I can say what would happen if this fight did happen, we have to go over these two guys individually and their strengths. First off, let's take a look at Gaethje's strengths in this potential matchup.
Tried not to do that, so the fact that you're saying it was that, again, perfect dance partner. There's no way this fight's not exciting. Got my takedown.
I don't think I have to convince anyone of this man's skills. I mean, he's a high-level NCAA wrestler and one of the deadliest strikers in the division. Yeah, on paper, this guy is genuinely just exactly what you'd expect a champ to be like. He's got great offense, and he's got the ability to dominate on the ground. If it helps, try to think of Kamaru Usman and his run at the welterweight division. This legendary man possessed the same qualities that are so strong in the highlight.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did enough to win the fight, but, you know, I knew it was a close fight. You know, great game plan. You know,
Gaethje is no joke, guys. Honestly, the only reason he hasn't ever been able to become the unified, undisputed champ of the UFC lightweights is because of his choice of style, and we'll get into that later. For now, all you've got to remember is that this guy has striking so good, he was able to destroy Chandler and Fiziev, and he could definitely put up a fight against Islam. Plus, I'm not just making this up. Gaethje's own comments are what sparked the whole Islam versus Justin discussion in the first place. Yup, he said he could knock out the Dagestani. And while that may sound ridiculous, it really isn't. This is the fight game and anything can happen. Plus, like I said before, Justin's one of the greatest strikers in the lightweight division, and he's got some incredible power. So yeah, if he caught Islam just right, he'd definitely be able to KO the guy. Also, Gaethje explained himself pretty well, guys. He talked about how, unlike the apparently invincible Khabib, Islam had been finished before. And if some unranked lightweight could KO the guy, you can bet that the highlight would be able to get it done. Now, before you guys head to the comments, I'm not saying Makhachev's bad or weak. Gaethje wasn't saying that either. No, he specified that, of course. The Dagestani had gotten a lot better, and he did have that aura of invincibility. But if Justin was to fight his best fight and find the perfect shot, then he'd be able to send the champ to the canvas. Still, it's a fact that the champ is Islam, and that he's not only the top dog of the lightweights, but he's also the #3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Yeah, as strong as Gaethje is, no one can deny Islam's dominance. The guy's so good, he might even be better than Khabib.
And with my father more than 20 years, all my team, aka with Coach Hav, I love him so much. All my team.
And again, these aren't my words. This is what Daniel Cormier and the legendary coach Javier Mendez have said time and time again.
That, boys, is run by Khabib. Even though they say I'm the head coach, it's really Khabib. He's really the head coach. But I'm his mentor, and I'm his head coach, so...
And I'm pretty sure at this point that Islam has more than proved himself. I mean, the guy just beat Alexander Volkanovski, and it genuinely doesn't look like anyone in the lightweight division is gonna be able to beat him. He's got that monstrous Dagestani wrestling that he used to dominate the insanely powerful wrestler Charles Oliveira. The same Oliveira that beat Gaethje. Plus, Makhachev's striking is apparently much better than Khabib's, and he's definitely not been gun-shy in his matches. punches, especially Volk. Yeah, that fight was a war, and Islam definitely threw some deadly strikes. Now, I know I just said that it looks like no one in the division can deal with this guy, but hey, I'm not counting out Gaethje, especially since he's the only man in the division other than Dariush to actually call the champ out. Now, considering Justin's strengths, what chance would he actually have in a fight against the lightweight king? Well, guys, it all depends on his tactics. The highlight is a very rare folk-style wrestler, and that makes him extremely deadly. Not only is he insane at grappling, but he's also got the ability to fight his way back to his feet if he's ever caught on the mat. That's the magic of folk-style wrestling, and that's exactly why the highlights fights so often stay on the feet. Yup, he's so good on the mat that no one even tries to take him down. Still, his current style just uses wrestling as a deterrent, and that wouldn't work very well against Islam. If he's gonna have any real chance against the guy, he's gonna need to go hard with the grappling. He won't be able to rely so much on his striking, so he's gonna have to take the initiative and use his wrestling. And just to make it clear, guys, this would be a huge change for the American, because as good as he is at wrestling, he never uses it. And I mean, of his 24 wins, only one was via submission. Still, despite the tactic change, Islam would still have the advantage. It's just like Justin said, he'd have to fight the perfect fight for a chance at victory. Now that we've gone over all that though, what's the likelihood of this fight actually happening? It's actually not unrealistic at all. Yeah, like I said before, Islam just beat Volk and he needs challengers from the lightweight division. Now, realistically, it looks like the winner of Oliveira versus Dariush will get the next shot. And honestly, whichever of these guys wins, they definitely deserve it, especially Dariush. I mean, at this point, the man's been winning for years and the UFC has been ignoring him. Ring any bells? This is exactly like what they did to Leon Edwards. So who knows, the guy might actually be the one to beat Islam. But if he doesn't, which is very likely, then Makhachev will need another challenger. And considering how Gaethje just beat Fiziev, he's got a definite shot at making a run at the title. He just needs to keep winning. And as hard as that sounds, the highlight can definitely do it. I mean, just look at this man's record. He's only lost 4 times, and 3 of those losses were to ex-champs, who were all considered the best of their time in the division. And the 4th loss was to the current number 2 of the division, Dustin Poirier. So Justin's definitely gonna get a shot at the title before he retires, but he may very well have to run it back with the diamond first. That's not all though. Gaethje versus Makhachev has a good story as well, and the UFC could definitely sell the fight. Yeah, the All-American wrestler mentioned this himself as well. A fight versus Islam could be the key to resolving his unfinished business with the Eagle. This could be the highlight's chance to get revenge and redeem himself. Well, there you have it. This was a breakdown of the insane potential matchup of Islam and Justin Gaethje for a title.